I mean, wicked can just be more than just a word, a descriptor word. Like it can be an
An
actual
adjective.
noun.
Barding. Ah.
These
I don't know
things.
any of these things besides
How
Bree's
do you
hockey
how do you
journey.
We got our first hater the other day.
shout out to my dad?
That made me mad. Now I'm triggered.
Oh, and god damn it. What a pro wants. What a pro wants. Folks, welcome to episode 50, Bread Loves Hockey Podcast. Ooh, that's a fun new number. New number every time. We've got Dean and Gifford here with us. Thanks for hopping on, Gifford. I know it's been a little bit and you've been pretty busy, but we appreciate you sticking it out for us.
Yeah, happy to be back on. Not so happy to be talking about the Golden Knights, I guess, based off of the recent news, but excited to see what we're talking about today.
Yeah, and we'd also like to give a quick shout out to Gifford for the new overlay for this season. So thanks to Gifford for that. I think it looks pretty sick and a little different than last go around.
Pretty snazzy.
Yeah, I like it. Yep.
And we got the new intro probably.
Hopefully. Oh yeah. I should get on that.
Otherwise, next week. Whatever. We didn't have the original intro the whole way through last season anyway, so
Yeah.
things are constantly in motion around here. But we'll shift gears to the league constantly being in motion with players going to other teams and stuff like that.
Ooh.
With some free agent signing recap for you. Nothing like super crazy. Obviously, July 1st was going to be when the biggest names for the most part were signing. But we do have a couple of nuggets here. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Starting with Roslovic signing with the Hurricanes, a 1-year deal at $2.8 million. That seems good. It was kind of surprising when he left Columbus, and then I guess he's just trying to find a new place to be. He's still young. He's 27. So I think that's a decent pickup for Carolina. They're always trying to find like speedy young forwards. So I think that would probably be a good fit.
Yeah, and for him, it's like a prove it deal. So if he has a good year, then he'll get paid, and if he has a good year, Carolina will be happy, and because they're obviously going to be a playoff team again. So
Really?
believe it or not, there's my off-season hot take.
Yeah. You kind of have to evaluate everybody for the most part, but there are some teams where it's like, unless something catastrophic happens, this team should be back in the postseason. So I definitely expect Carolina to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see a conference final from them this year. I was rooting for them to win the cup once Vegas got eliminated. That didn't happen, but most of the same roster's coming back, right? So they should have a good chance again.
They lost a couple of defensemen. They swapped some things around like you always do.
Well, and they had Gensel.
And they lost Gensel, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the big one. We'll move forward with a couple signings from the Sharks, Carl Grundstrom and Ty Dellandrea. So they traded for Dellandrea's rights with Dallas, so they signed him to a 2-year deal. That's fine. I think they just need some warm bodies and people to potentially grow into a role, because they don't, they're still fledging out what's going to be their core for the future here. This is a big transitionary season, I think, for the Sharks now that they have their prize from the tank essentially in Celebrini, and Will Smith maybe will join them at some point. I don't expect him to be with the Sharks for the whole season, but he'll probably play some games for them at some point. So this is starting to really see the fruits of their labor and who's going to be the part of the core that sticks around for when they're back in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, they're not there yet, but unfortunately, the San Jose Sharks are getting better, and I think they're going about this the right way.
Yeah.
They're not rushing. They're not forcing anything. They're not going crazy in free agency, but rather trying to develop with the younger guys and through the draft. So bad for me as a Vegas fan, but good for hockey that one of these bad teams is actually on an upswing, just to keep more parity within the league.
Yeah, I don't expect them to be last in the league this year. I mean, it's usually not the same teams year to year, but yeah, I would expect somebody else. I don't know who yet, but not the Sharks is my guess. Let me see what we got here. Tolvanen signs a 2-year extension with the Kraken, and they actually announced that. Ron Francis announced that during a public practice, or like I think it was maybe the development camp. And so there were a bunch of people there. He said, we've re-signed Tolvanen, and they were all pretty excited about it. So I think he's a fan favorite, and one of those guys they picked up on waivers from Nashville, and he really carved out a role for himself. So good to see those type of guys stick around and get rewarded, because that doesn't always happen. Obviously, we've seen that with Vegas. So, but it's kind of like a Matteo sticking around last year is the equivalent that I would think, at least comparing it to Vegas. So that's good. Jan Jenik, the right winger that the Sens traded for in the Sokolov deal, is signed to an entry level deal, so that's good. Yoki Haru, probably third line defenseman for the Sabres, so 3.1 million. I don't know, for
It's a year though.
Yeah, but for your third D, I think you could get better value elsewhere. I mean, I know you.
Bruins just did that.
Yeah, I don't know how good of an idea that is. I mean, it's not
the Bruins did it for
terrible,
term.
but and again, yeah, it is just one deal, and he is still 25. So I guess they've had him here for a while, kind of just like this is your last sort of go around. It's not terrible. Some other good ones on here. Some 2024 draft picks signed their entry level deals. Ilya Protas with the Capitals. Celebrini did sign his deal, $975,000 for that one. Same with Levshunov. So good to see both of those guys sign their deals. I don't know if we'll see Levshunov this season, but I would be very surprised if we didn't see Celebrini. I think pretty much everybody is expecting that, which is fun. Reason to go to Sharks.
Yeah, no reason not to.
Games.
It's not like the Sharks are fighting for anything, so you might as well play the young guys, give them some experience, and there's really no pressure on them to, start out amazing.
No. Let's see. Logan Stanley sticks around in Winnipeg on a 1 year, 1.25 million, or no, sorry, 2 year, 1.25 million per deal. That's fine. Doesn't move the needle a ton, but Josiah Slavin signs with Carolina. I assume he's related to Jacob Slavin. I'm not familiar with him, but that would make some sense, I suppose, wouldn't it?
Probably.
Possibly.
Drafted by Chicago in the 7th round, so okay, yeah. Some depth there.
He is the younger brother of Jacob Slavin.
Okay. I mean, so that's kind of fun. I'm always a fan of that. He probably won't get into a whole lot of games with the Hurricanes this year, but I did the frickin' Panthers thing again that the media does. I don't know why, but that's kind of fun. We've also got Consta Hellenius and Callum Ritchie signing their entry level deals. So I think both of those guys are first rounders. Maybe not Ritchie. No, he was last year's first rounder for Colorado. And probably the only other notable would be Barrett Hayton signing with Utah. So good to see him come back. This is a 2-year deal, 2.65 per, which, I mean, I think he's going to be their first line center. So I'd say that's good value.
Can you really call it coming back if it's a new team?
Yeah, coming
To
to
over,
coming
over.
over,
Going
yeah.
to.
Because nobody's played for Utah before. New franchise, and technically it's an expansion franchise. It's kind of a weird sort of thing, but because it's not really a relocation, it's a new franchise with new history, so it is an expansion. At least that's how the NHL sees it. I think that was pretty much it. It's gonna be a lot lighter for these kind of updates for a while, I think. Mostly it'll be RFA's signing, which obviously will have hopefully a big one to announce relatively soon for the Boston Bruins. But I know none of the players that were eligible for arbitration elected for, or the teams didn't elect for arbitration, so that's good. I mean, it's never
Raymond
a
was like
fun
on
process.
vacation during
Was
it.
he?
Yeah, he's like, I don't want any part of this.
Yeah, no. He said
Just
after the
fair.
last year, he's like, I'm not doing that again. That was terrible.
And then he went out and
Can't
earned a
blame him.
contract in the playoffs.
Yeah. So, and of course, the Bruins have no leverage,
No.
because Allmark is gone, and Korpisalo was garbage for like the last 2 years, basically. So it's like, what are you guys gonna do if you don't give me an 8x8 or whatever he wants? I don't know.
I mean, my thought was that they kind of had like a handshake deal done, and then they were kind of just gonna save that cap space and then go out and make their signings and whatever they needed, and then go back and do the Swayman thing last. But like now it's been a week since free agency began, so I'm like, well, what are they waiting for?
Yeah, like unless they're trying to cook something up as far as a trade, and they like a trade in extension. Well, it probably wouldn't be an extension at this point because everybody's a UFA has already signed. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Cam Neely's known to be really like stringent with contract signing, so like they could just still be negotiating and like holding out or whatever. And I mean, just because you don't go to arbitration doesn't mean they've agreed on like they're on the same page with how much term and dollar amount. But maybe just waiting until the start of the season or longer. I don't know what that would help, but I don't know what else he'd be doing.
Yeah, yeah. I think it could potentially be a while, but I'm hoping that it isn't because it's just gonna be more and more nerve wracking
I
as
mean,
a fan.
like you said though, it's gonna happen because what else? Like we obviously had a plan to sign Swayman, otherwise we wouldn't get rid of Volmar, right? Or they
Right.
or it's like a week before the season starts, like they're gonna go separate ways, and I'm like, crap, we need a goalie. Who's still available?
Yeah.
It would be really unfortunate if they somehow found a way to lose both of them when they essentially had the best goalie tandem in hockey.
Yeah, you go from like this luxury of riches with like two of the like top 10 best goalies in the league to just neither. Korpisalo is your starter.
Yeah, and you get him for like Mark Kastelik and like a fourth rounder or whatever, second rounder or whatever it was. It's like
Yeah.
great. Um, yeah, that would be no good. But I think it'll ultimately get done.
Me
Um,
too.
unless they're like expecting somebody to offer sheet him so they can like, I don't know. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
We did also have a couple of minor. Well, we had one minor trade in Bobby Fabry and a fourth rounder in next year's draft going to Anaheim in exchange for goalie prospect Gage Alexander. So I think pretty good value for Anaheim. I know a lot of people like Fabry in Detroit, but he kind of had a bloated contract. So like just trying to get some more bodies, trying to get to the cap floor, basically. Um, so that doesn't move the needle a whole lot for Detroit, but we'll see what this young guy does maybe in a couple of years. And then the bigger the bigger news being the McLeod and Tyler Tullio trade for Matt Savoie. So that was kind of a big one, and a lot of people were saying that Buffalo gave up on Savoie, or is it Savoie? Too early. I don't remember that one.
I have no idea.
I'm not as good with pronunciations. I can do spelling pretty well, but I don't know. Something about pronunciations, I'm not always the best if I haven't heard it a lot. But
Well,
yeah,
maybe he'll become the Zeev of this season.
yeah. We have a replacement. Every season we have a new young player that we don't know how to pronounce their name.
Well, do we think Boyum, Booyum, whatever is going to be playing NHL games this year?
For Minnesota, maybe he'll get in some games. I think he's probably gonna go back to Denver. But he might. We'll see how things look in camp. That's gonna be another storyline. Obviously, as we go through the summer here, will be who we think makes it out of camp, who gets invited to camp, things like that. Players that say that they're gonna stick with their collegiate teams for another go around. So I think he'll probably not play with them for the majority of the season. That's my take.
Yeah.
But we'll get back to the trade. So yeah, a lot of people were surprised. I think Savoie is only 20 years old, and he was a former first round draft pick. So he's going to Edmonton, but Buffalo gets McLeod, who's basically going to be their third line center, which was a need for them. I did watch a video the hockey guy did about sort of breaking down the trade and what it means as far as the Buffalo Sabres center depth, or just depth in general. So I get sort of what's going on here. I get some of the rationale with Kevin Adams. They also have a lot of shorter guys. And McLeod is not that short, I don't think. So like getting a little bit taller is probably good as the league continues to do that. I don't know exactly how tall he is, but I can find out momentarily.
Is it true that Savoie has only been in one NHL game so far?
Yes. So yeah, pretty early for him.
Yeah.
Where are we looking here? Ryan McLeod. There we
2013, yeah, 14. He played
6'3". So yeah, a lot bigger than 5'10". Savoie, I think, is. He is a left winger though, but I think that was part of the rationale, getting a little bit taller. They were getting a lot faster this offseason with their free agent signings. They've signed like some of the fastest skaters that were available. So they're just trying to get some speed in their bottom six, and then obviously skill in their top six, which I think is a decent formula for the most part. That's kind of similar to what Vegas does a little bit. So we'll see how the summer shakes out for them, but we'll probably do a little season preview for them with Sandroni at some point here. We'll see how much he knows as far as how many players he knows that are on the team.
I wouldn't say, like, I was so hot on them before last season started in the off season. This year, not as much. I feel like they're in the same spot. I don't think they're going to be getting all that much better. But we'll wait for the expert, the Sabres fan himself, to tell us what he thinks.
I mean, I think everyone's been kind of high on Buffalo the last few years, and then they have like good starts, and then never pans out. I think it's gonna be one of the things where it's like, as soon as everyone's like, they're washes when they finally end up making the playoffs. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they changed much, like, or enough over the off season to make a difference. But sometimes it's like there's been teams that barely change, and then like all you needed was, I don't know, momentum,
just
or
another
like,
year just another year together.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised
It's
if they make the
unfortunate.
playoffs. Wouldn't be surprised if they miss again.
Yeah, right.
They have a lot of good pieces. It's just, do they have solid holistic roster, probably not.
Yeah.
They
I
got
just don't see the depth there, but
they got the new coach too, so that'll be a big factor how well he works with this group. So yeah, lots of storylines for them, and obviously need to break this drought, not only for the fans as far as just watching the team, but also for the ownership to get some playoff revenue, because I'm sure Buffalo fans are so ravenous to buy playoff Buffalo tickets. They just need to see this team do something that's meaningful. So
Yeah, and I feel like their top guys are good, and then their depth is not, and that's a bit like for defense, Darlene, Power, and Byram are all good, and then after that, it's like, and then same with like forwards.
I disagree there. I think Samuelson is good and is like a future stalwart on their blue line. I mean, I'm not like super enthralled with Yoki Haru, but again, it's kind of just like, how good do you want your third line D man to be? Who's the other guy they've got? Oh, Bryson. Yeah, he's young still, and Clifton. You should like him.
I know him enough to be like, eh.
Again, but on the third line, on the third pair, excuse me. Like, I don't know. Doesn't make me too upset.
Yeah, Samuelson. I didn't see him because he's on IR, but yeah, I guess okay. And then I don't know, like forwards. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like the bottom six for me, where I'm like, eh.
yeah,
which is what they were working on all year or all off season. So
right,
that's not good. We'll see how the goalie situation shakes out. They still got to sign Luukkonen. So, I mean, that deal gets done. They've got plenty of cap space, which is also, maybe part of the reason why they might not be done yet, because they have 13 million cap space. They could make a trade if they feel something is right, if they realize that a team is strapped and needs to sign an RFA or something like that. So, yeah, it's still early in the summer.
They could go after Mitch Marner.
That would be crazy. It would be pretty cool.
Yeah. That's the problem I have with the Sabres is especially with the forwards, it's top heavy, but it's top heavy without like a huge name like a McDavid or a Matthews that's just driving the whole line himself. Paige Thompson's good, Tuck's good, but it's just like you don't have a lot of like big name stars that are going to contribute like 60 plus points a year.
I think in order for them to acquire somebody like that, they're going to have to get in on their own kind of first. Like, they have to prove that they're a team that people will be excited to like go to once they see the potential there. So I think I think they could attract somebody in the next couple of seasons if they start winning a little bit, like overachieving a little bit this season or maybe next. I think that's what they would have to do in order to really push for a deep run. But obviously, with Buffalo, we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Almost having to talk about Vegas.
Yeah, let's chat a little bit. Gifford and I have already had some private discussions about how he's felt about how the off season has been going, and I don't think you're super optimistic about the team going into the season, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, I think the actions taken by Kelly McCrimmon don't inspire confidence in the team in general. It's definitely tough, I know, for Vegas and specifically for Kelly McCrimmon to sign these guys when they're all saying, hey, I won a Stanley Cup. I deserve to get paid more. So I think that's obviously part of the reason that we saw all of the UFAs go on, sign bigger contracts with other teams. But I just don't understand what the plan is at all. We're not in rebuild mode. We're not selling off the big name pieces like Eichel, like Stone. We're not retooling really because we didn't. We got rid of all the UFAs, but we didn't really bring in a significant amount of talent to retool the roster. Um, I'm not like they're kind of like in wait and see mode, I guess is how I would evaluate it. I was just more disappointed that either, in my opinion, they either needed to sign Marchessault, or if they weren't going to sign Marchessault, then like let's sign some of the other UFAs, or let's go look for another big piece. I just don't see where the goals are coming from that Marchessault scored last year, and yet Vegas got eliminated because we weren't scoring enough goals, and the production at the end of the season sucked to put us in the position to play the Stars in the first round. So it's a little disappointing for me and a little confusing. So I really don't know where Vegas is going to be. I would assume they still make the playoffs, but I don't know if they're going to go any farther than maybe a first or a second round exit. And I think if they don't make playoffs next year, then you start considering moving on from Kelly McCrimmon altogether.
I don't
I
really.
know.
Go ahead, Dean.
I was gonna say, like, I know, obviously they're always one of the big players at the trade deadline, but like you don't need to wait till the trade deadline to make a big move. And I feel like they tend to try to like not weaponize their cap space necessarily, but like get in a position that benefits them above other teams to like make these big moves every trade deadline. So could it also be that there's kind of like not retooling, but just kind of structuring in the off season like they've done in the past, just so that they can start the season, see how things are going, and then make a trade like a few months in, maybe.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do. I'm already wondering because like here's the problem is I think we Vegas definitely got worse than last year, and Vegas has been sitting in the playing the LTIR game for the last 2 seasons, which means some of our big name guys aren't healthy. So if you're already worse than you were last year, and we expect that somebody, if not multiple guys, are going to go out. Stone's been out for a long time. Hurdle's been out for a long time. Jack Eichel's been out for a long time. So um, we'll see where it goes. I just hope we move on from this LTIR era of Vegas. But who knows if they're banking on that come another trade deadline. Um, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I don't really see it exactly the same way as you do. And they do only have, just speaking on the LTIR aspect, so the only person they actively have there now is Leonard, who's going to be a UFA next summer anyways. So the expectation is that his career is done with the double hip surgery. So that'll come off the books next year, and they won't have to worry about that. Obviously, they could have candidates in the future if there's injuries, and like you mentioned, we have had unfortunate history with Stone and with Eichel and a couple other guys, some of which have left. But basically, what they're, in my mind, and I'm sort of parroting a bit of what McCrimmon said himself in the presser, which I know you don't fully believe everything he says, but it's from the horse's mouth, so it's kind of like trusting some of these younger guys. They're working out their cap issues. Like, obviously, they weren't going to be able to bring a majority of the UFAs back. That's just directly related to bringing in Hurdle and extending Hanifin. So they kind of knew that they weren't going to be able to keep a lot of these guys, at least not at their market value. And they were okay with doing that because they feel like the prospect pool that they've been slowly developing, the ones that they haven't traded away, like can step up. We've seen Dorofeev be effective in the limited time he's had, and he's going to be playing a bigger role this year. They did bring in Olofsson, who's relatively, he's 28, so he's not that young, but he's right in that sort of meaty part of the age group where I feel like the management really likes their guys. They do bring in Holtz, so and they have a couple other guys like Brisson and probably not Sepovalev this year, but just some other guys that they still have in Henderson, and they're working on, and they're kind of just banking on the prospects working out. Which again,
Yeah.
with if you're gonna have injury problems again, could be where they falter if they start to have to really dig into the prospect pool a little bit earlier than they were expecting because of injuries, and they can't sustain. That might be what ultimately kicks them out of playoff spot this season. That would probably be my take, at least as far as how the roster is constructed right now. They could still make a trade. Like I am kind of envisioning White Cloud not to be here by the start of the season because McCrimmon did say his expectation for Caden Korzak, who's a young D-man, their number one defensive prospect, will be a full-time NHLer this season. And I don't see Korzak having a role as this defense is currently constructed. And I think White Cloud is the odd man out. He is signed for a little bit, which might make it difficult. But he is a proven, Stanley Cup champion and everything, so that's part of it. I feel like something's gonna shift.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that was the other thing I was going to mention was the fact that he had specifically called out Caden Korzak. And if we look at our current roster, we already have, our top six: Hannafin, Petrangelo, McNabb, Theodore, Haig, and Whitecloud. So it's like, where does Korzak fit in? That's why I was thinking, like, maybe they haven't done something now, but they're going to, before the beginning of the season, move someone. Shea Theodore was always put out there as a possible guy to trade.
UFA next summer, so.
And same goes for Braden McNabb. I mean, he's another guy that you don't really necessarily want to lose. He's another misfit, another huge asset to the team when it comes to shot blocking. But at the same time, Vegas let Fleury go. They let Marchessault go. So they let Smith go. So I don't think the misfit, the part of the heart of the team, really means anything. So we'll see how it plays out. I think the other piece that I didn't mention is, and why I think it what he did doesn't inspire confidence, is we really haven't seen a Golden Knight play out his, and given they're still young, so the franchise is only hasn't even been around for 10 years yet, but we haven't seen a guy play out his career really in Vegas. You had like Derek England, I guess, did it. He played his last 2-3 years. I think he retired during the bubble or after the bubble.
I think it might have been before that.
But I don't think players are obviously Vegas is a great market to play in, and they've been extremely competitive. So, and with taxes and things like that, there's great reasons to come to Vegas. But when you're seeing time and time again that even the biggest name guys, the faces of the franchise, the stats leaders, aren't even surviving their entire career in Vegas, it's like, do I really want to sign a deal there? Sign for 4 years, only play out 2 before they move me on to someone else. I think eventually, if Kelly McCrimmon is here long enough, it's going to catch up to them in some way. Just like I think the fact that they've continued to trade first-round draft picks, not only the picks themselves, but the selections they end up making. I think that's another thing that's kind of hurting them, because it's like we're relying on the young guys, but how many young guys do we really have when we've continuously traded it away almost every first-round draft pick we've ever had besides Brendan Brisson? And we don't have, I believe, we had our first-round draft pick this year for Connolly, but then next year, and I think the following year, Vegas no longer owns those draft picks anymore. I think those both got traded away. So you're not seeing a first-round draft pick for the next 2 seasons. So I think it's not looking well if the young guys that they're mentioning, the Caden Korzaks, the Brendan Brissons, the Dorofeevs, the Alexander Holtz, don't step up. We're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Do you think they
Hey.
do with so they're over the cap right now by 3.7, and you mentioned that White Cloud they might try and trade. So if they get back either draft picks or someone with a lower cap hit, that would be a start. Um, but I guess
Are they? I thought they were.
Well, with Leonard, they're under the cap, so they're really
Oh,
not.
okay.
I
It's
thought that has preseason LTIR candidates. Okay, so it doesn't cap friendly doesn't count that until the season starts.
no, they have what is cap space with LTIR
Oh, yep, I
candidates.
see.
So
Okay,
one
so they have
Yeah, so they're cap
1.3
compliant
million.
right now,
Yeah.
which is actually surprising because I don't know how if you were to go back, how many seasons has Vegas been had cap space at this point? Usually they're like going over the limit, and it's like, okay, who's not going to be on the team next year,
mm,
or they're just barely fitting in where they have like less than $1 million of cap space. So this is also an interesting place we haven't seen Vegas before.
mm, okay. Yeah, I was like, well, if they're over, then you just put Stone back on LTIR. Like, imagine that he gets cleared for the playoffs, and like before the first game, like, oh, he's hurt again. Oops.
If Mark Stone or any player for that matter goes on LTIR to the point where Vegas is playing the game one more time for the third season in a row, like I definitely won't be happy at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Vegas
It's
fans are even
too much
getting
shenanigans. Yeah,
sick of it.
I think we've gotten. It's like the first time it was like, okay, we've seen the Lightning do it, we've seen other teams do it. The second time it's like, well, I don't really agree with it, but it's also in the rules, so I'll allow it. And like the third time it'll be like, come on, guys, like figure out a new strategy where you just win hockey games and don't have to, play these games.
Right. I mean, you're like, well, it's not against the rules, so you can do it. But like, again, if it's a legit injury, that is. But
Yep.
like, doesn't mean it's the best strategy. Like, you're still losing. If it's a high cap hit, it means they're probably a good player, so you're just playing without them and then hoping you can make it into the playoffs and get
Yeah, I know we've talked about this. I know we've talked about this before. I am definitely in the camp that every injury that mainly those Stone injuries that were on LTIR were indeed serious injuries where he needed to be put on there. I can see the argument that it fits too perfectly that he's able to come back for the playoffs both times, where it's like he probably could have played a little bit earlier. He wasn't probably 100% healthy, but they could have. But again, that's that situation where how do you tell a player you got to play, and he's telling you, "Hey, I'm not ready."
yeah, I'm in the same boat where I'm like, yeah, he probably could have played game 82, but also he's not playing game one of the playoffs fully healthy either.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the whole, players are always playing in the playoffs hurt. So it's like,
Hmm.
even though the actual like game is the same, it is different for the players as far as what they are willing to do to themselves to play. So like, yeah, that line that gets drawn, and it's I get why fans of teams other than Vegas are not always happy with it, but
Yeah,
um,
and the other piece is I feel like it's always when people argue against it, it's like they're arguing like the player comes back and he's just scoring goals immediately and he looks just like his regular self, and it's like Vegas kind of hurts themselves as well every time they do it because it's like they're gonna obviously they're over the cap, so that helps with having additional players, but it's not like Mark Stone is coming in ready to play at game speed and he's producing immediately. It's like the first time, I think it was like the first round he started to get going, but it took him a while. And then this time, we didn't see really Hurdle do much of anything. We didn't see Mark Stone do much. So
Did score in the first
it's
game,
like,
right?
yeah, he did.
yes,
But yeah,
yes,
yeah.
but like
After
you
that,
watch his play when you watch his play night in and night out, and then you watched how he started out those playoffs, or you watched Hurdle, it's like they do not look like themselves. Like he scored a goal, he was probably in the right place at the right time, But it's like you're not seeing that defensive play. You're not seeing the forced turnovers. You're seeing more mistakes where he's passing where he shouldn't be. And I did see that from Stone a lot this playoffs, where I was kind of disappointed. But I mean, what do you expect from a guy who's been out for a while?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but the bottom line is, like, McCrimmon and McPhee aren't building the team with the expectation that somebody will get hurt and they'll be able to add. Like, they're recognizing the potential benefit despite having one of their best players on long-term injured reserve. Like, okay, yes, Stone is out, and that's not good. Like, we would prefer to have Stone in. I don't think anybody's saying that they would. They wouldn't, but then we can use this space, and that's that's part of the reason that they have the LTIR system, is that you can continue to be competitive when these guys are out. So it has benefited them definitely, but it's not a long-term solution, as you guys are saying. So that's probably enough LTIR talk for one day, unless you have anything else Vegas related as far as their outlook that you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, so I think we should all answer this question right now just to see what it looks like compared to right before the season starts, and then once the season is in full swing. Where do you think Vegas ends the season right now with the current makeup of the roster? Are they missing playoffs, first round exit, Stanley Cup champs again? What do you think?
I feel like I have the safe bet for like all these predictions, like bubble team. But I'll say because they were wild card 2 spot this year, right?
Yeah.
I'll say wild card 2 again.
I'm gonna say, as an optimistic prediction, I'm going to say they make it in as a wild card, and they do win the first round surprisingly. So whoever they're facing, they should lose to. They win, but then they lose in the second round.
Dallas.
That's my guess. It could be Dallas. It really could be Dallas again. It could be they are wild card 1 or 2 and they're playing Dallas.
I feel like probably third in the Pacific is what I'm leaning towards right now. I don't know, maybe second round, third round exit. I'd guess second round.
If they got a conference final this year, I would be ecstatic by it, honestly. So if that would exceed expectations if they did.
Well, we'll check back in about maybe September or so.
So you think the other teams around are going to be better? So they had 98 points. They were the second wild card. Do you think they get over under 98 points this year? Because you would have to say over, Brendan, if you're thinking they're third, unless you think other teams are going to get significantly worse. Like the Canucks are probably going to have 109 points this year.
Probably not.
That's true. But Vegas over. I mean, they were still really good. I mean, they brought the whole Cup team back, but they still kind of overachieved at the beginning of the season and underachieved at the whole second half.
Yeah.
So it's tough to say because it's like they definitely aren't going to start as good as they did last year. But I bet you they're not going to be playing like 500, barely 500 hockey for the second half of the season. So I'll say they pretty much say exactly where they are at, 98 to like 100 points.
Yeah, and they could perform better in the Pacific if the other teams don't do as well. Like if Edmonton is first with like 115 points or something, Vancouver's like second with maybe 103 or 105, and then Vegas gets like 96, 98 again. But then like the Kings and the Flames and Seattle and everybody just doesn't have as good of a season. Like it wouldn't really surprise me. So I feel like I'm somewhere in the 96 to like 100, 102 sort of range, which
Yeah.
Again, not a crazy take, but just how I'm feeling right now.
Where did Jay Fresh have the projections? I think you sent that in the group chat, right?
Third in the Pacific.
Okay. I see. Just copying him. Copy the analytics guy.
I mean,
Wow.
Vegas is one of those teams that's going to be a
Usually get, like,
perennial
5
playoff
wrong.
team until they're not. But it's like you pretty much count on them every single year until they prove that they aren't good anymore.
Yeah.
Which they haven't proven yet.
Pretty nice. So yeah, we'll close that.
I guess while we're off the topic of Vegas, I'm just gonna see if Jay Fresh posted the standings for the goalies yet. Top 10 goalies.
I don't know. The top
Hill
10.
was not in the top 10 goalies.
Hellebuck?
That I know. No, I said Hill. Was
Oh,
not
I
in the
was
top
like,
10 goalies. I can tell you that.
yeah, he definitely was and is. But yeah, no, Hill wasn't in, and neither of the
8
Vegas
hours
goalies.
ago.
Oh, okay.
And
Hey, Corpusala is
Markstrom
number
didn't make the
50. Yay.
Markstrom was 11th, I think. He
Yeah.
like, just barely didn't make the list.
All right, I'll give you the top 10.
Oh, super.
Shesterkin's number 1. Hellebuck's number 2. I saw a post that those two were like super close, so he had
Yeah.
a separate vote for those two. Vasilevsky 3, Swayman 4, Saros 5, Demko 6, Bob 7, Sorokin 8, Ottinger 9, Olmark 10.
I changed a little bit, but compared to what I voted for, but it not that drastically different.
Well, maybe we agree on some that we'd have higher. Here, I just posted the picture in the doc, so you don't have to like do it from memory.
Good.
Swayman's right where he should be. I had him probably up there.
Aiden Hill is 12 actually. That's
Decent.
That's actually pretty decent. That's higher than I assumed he was going to be. But I mean, I guess I look at the guys underneath him, and I'm like, well, he should be beating out guys like Stuart Skinner and Jordan Binnington.
I think I'd have Vasilevsky over Hellebuck.
I had Vasilevsky as my number 1. Still.
I had a number 2. I don't remember my vote, but I know I had Shesterkin 1.
I did not have Shesterkin 1, actually.
Brendan, if you don't have Shesterkin 1, then and you have Vasi 1, do you have Hellebuck or Shesterkin higher?
I think I ultimately went with Hellebuck and then Shesterkin at 3rd.
Yeah, I think I would put Hellebuck over Shesterkin, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I could almost see Hellebuck as the 1, but I mean, I guess he also won the Vezina, so...
I feel like Shesterkin's best is better than Hellebuck's best. And I don't know what Shesterkin's worst was, but Hellebuck's worst was pretty bad, too. But Hellebuck's been in the league longer, and I think overall been more consistent than Shesterkin. So like I can see the argument either way.
That's why I ultimately lean towards him. But
I think at the end of their
it's close.
career, Shesterkin's gonna be the better.
Yeah, we could say that. I think for right now, I'll lean towards Hellebuck, but I do think that they're like either way, you're not going with somebody. We're talking about 2 and 3 here, or maybe even 1 and 2, like however you feel.
Where's Jack Campbell?
Campbell, probably not on the board.
Yeah.
He's with Detroit now, so I don't even see. Yeah, I don't see that logo.
And then I also think
right next to each other.
I also think
that's not good. 42 and 43.
These evaluations, like you're kind of considering that the team they're on, and if they're on, they have a better team in front of them, then that's also gonna, pad their stats a little bit and make them look a little bit better than they are. Not that the Canucks were bad by any means this season; they were very good. But I think Demko honestly has top 5 potential. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'd put him over Saros, but I feel like I think it's tough to say because of the team that he plays for. I think Demko's underrated because he's.
I think I had him around 6. But the other thing with the voting that you were kind of saying is like the other thing that can affect it is if a lot of people are Rangers fans, they're all going to pick Shesterkin. Like it depends how many fans of a team are voting. Like maybe 50% of J Fresh followers are like I don't know Tampa fans or whatever.
Yeah.
skew the result.
Yeah, these aren't any official rankings. Like, this is a fan vote. It
I think
wasn't like
it's
his
still better than
statistical
like
ranking or anything.
better than the NHL voting ones. Like the top 100 that the NHL puts out is always terrible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
This
that's
looks
true.
pretty good.
Yeah.
And Akira Schmidt is not last. He's 63rd.
Yeah, we've got 3 goalies on here. Some teams don't even have 2.
I was wondering if Askarov would be on there. He is 37.
Decent.
He's gonna be good. I'm still high on him.
Yeah, I think so
And
too.
if
We haven't got to
I think
see him
everyone
play
is.
really.
If we count the fact that Logan Thompson was with the Knights last year and Allmark was with Boston last year, those Vegas and Boston are the only 2 teams to have, I think, or no, I guess the Islanders too. There are the 3 teams to have top 20 goalies.
Well, the Bruins had 2 top 10.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Way to rub it in. Way to rub it in.
We did.
Not anymore.
And where did you get with that?
Got to the Cup Finals. Oh no, that we didn't even have all market actually.
No, you didn't.
Not this year.
Second round.
The second round.
Woo! You made it farther than Vegas.
The Seattle Kraken made it to the second round, okay? Anyways. I quickly cover some stuff about the Fanatics launch. So we have officially seen the Fanatics jerseys now. With the 2 rebrands being the LA and the Anaheim ones that were anticipated. And then, of course, Utah is brand new. And they didn't have the exact jersey designs at the draft. They had like special draft ones that were not the fully fledged ones, so I think we still have to see those. And I believe Utah was currently using Adidas practice jerseys actually. I don't know if that's still true, but yeah, mostly they're unchanged. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of the minute details, but most notably the dimples. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but there are dimples to indicate or to mimic the dimples that are much more prominent on the Made in Canada jerseys. So these dimples are gone now for the Fanatics jerseys. They have a different collar, and the logo, the NHL logo, is different material. I think it's like a shinier or like maybe it's more matte. I can't remember which one, but that's pretty much it. Again, we're not expecting big changes until like they do their new template in probably a couple seasons.
And ruin everything.
Yeah, that's when I think it'll really get worrisome. But they are going to be selling the on ice versions of the jerseys, which is good at retail prices. It's going to be like $500, I think.
Really?
Or maybe I think it's either $475 or $500. I don't know if the number is confirmed. I think it's bounced around a couple of times. But if you're a fan of collecting the on ice jerseys, that's good that there's like a legitimate way to get them rather than like hoping that you can get one at an auction or a team sale or something, because they weren't retail available. But we'll see what the premier or the breakaway versions, which are basically just going to be like the current Fanatics jerseys, and then the middle of the line ones will probably be the ones that I would buy, which will be basically the made in Indonesia versions, but obviously not Adidas.
You're gonna have one lower than that, like 3 levels.
Yeah, it'll be 3 levels. So the lowest level will be like basically what the current Fanatics jerseys are like the ones that they had been using.
Mm-hmm. You have any Fanatics jerseys or no?
I have a couple of them. I have a couple Vegas ones that Breeze got me, and one that I bought, like my James Neal that I originally got was a Vegas. I also have a Bruins, my Torrey Krug Bruins jersey is a Fanatics. I think that might be it. But yeah, most of them are not.
So, what would be the reason for the difference in price points between the old Adidas jerseys and these new Fanatics ones, and why the on ice would be $500? Because that's not what it is for Adidas, right?
Well, they, like I was saying, the Adidas made in Canada jerseys were not made available for retail, so the prices could vary greatly depending on how you have to attain them. If it's like a
Oh, okay.
team issued or if it's a game worn or whatever, like you can be paying thousands and thousands of dollars for these, depending on if it's an auction or whatever. So with at least with this way, there's a retail avenue for you to buy them, which there wasn't previously.
So, what's the
They're
price point difference between what's the Fanatics equivalent of what the normal Adidas jerseys were that
I
were
think
sold?
I think it's like maybe 180 is the base model, and then 220 or 240 is what's going to be like this version,
Okay.
more or less. I think that's around what it was. I don't remember
Okay,
exactly.
so it's relatively close to what Adidas prices were. It's more of like we're spending the same amount of money, but is the quality the same? Which we'll find out, and that's why at least I'm happy that, and obviously Fanatics wouldn't be able to handle it if they did significant rebrands or they tried to push out a new line of jerseys right away. But hopefully, like in these
Yeah,
first couple of years, they figure things out so that by the time a new line of jerseys does come out, hopefully they're actually good and I'm willing to buy one. Um, Otherwise, I'm just not going to get. I mean, I don't have a reason to get another jersey unless it's for another team until they push out another line for Vegas.
right.
Um,
So I do have
but
the
we'll see.
I do have the according to Aesthetics, the figures are going to be the breakaway will be 175, and this is American. The Canadian numbers will be different. The premium middle of the line will be 230, and then the authentic on ice game jersey will be 425. So that's the rumor. I think I've seen a couple different figures besides that, but I think that's probably around what it'll be. Um,
Yeah, so that does seem definitely on par with what Adidas has done in the past. But
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing what Reddit and Twitter has to say once these jerseys start getting mass produced, and if there's some misspellings, um, and if there's just issues with jerseys like tearing or falling apart or not
yeah.
sewed on well,
General quality
and
control.
especially on ice. Yeah, we'll see, and then we'll see on ice if there's any significant difference. Somebody gets stabbed with a stick or slashed or something, and their jersey like tears off.
Yeah, which I'm not expecting there to be any major issues with the on ice ones, and I know that Fanatics was working with the players and the equipment managers. Apparently, one of the big qualms with the Adidas Made in Canada jerseys that the players were using was the elbows would need to be replaced a lot. Like they would just like rub off, or like I don't know, just lose material really easily. So I think that's something that we'll probably see change. Um, who knows if there'll be other problems that arise, but I think, and I'm being as optimistic as I've ever been about Fanatics, but I do think at least to start out they will do a halfway decent job. Maybe
I
in a couple
agree.
of years my tune will change on that.
What's your
I mean, here's
plan
the thing.
for?
I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say I like the Adidas jerseys better, but I mean we're all rooting. Like even though I don't like Fanatics, we're rooting for them to succeed because I don't want hockey jerseys to suck for 10 years.
Yeah,
So it's like we want you to do well. We ultimately, after those 10 years, hopefully we go back to Adidas or to a better company than Fanatics. But for the meantime, like I want jerseys to at least be halfway decent. So like, hopefully they do well.
yeah, absolutely.
What's your plan for purchasing Fanatics jerseys? Are you gonna wait and see what when people buy like the new ones that come out, or are you gonna wait until like the next Vegas, or keep buying Adidas jerseys?
I honestly am not sure what the plan will be. Maybe if I go to a game this season and I see them for sale, I'll take like a closer look. Maybe if there's like a sale early on for one that I would want to get, like maybe if the new Utah ones go on sale, or maybe if I like the Columbus Stadium Series jersey or something like that, maybe I'll jump on it. I probably will not be getting the on ice ones unless they are heavily discounted. It's just not something that I get into. I cannot afford to get this many jerseys times two with that price point. So probably won't be getting those. Maybe I'll get one just to like sort of see what they look like and the difference, but probably not. Still early. And I still have to get my Panthers Cup jersey, which I'm finding is going to be difficult and expensive because all of the Florida Panthers jerseys are sold out everywhere. Pretty much all of like the Adidas stock is gone. So I think I'm gonna have to pay like probably $400 for this.
Oh.
Like
What if he's get a Fanatics one?
well, I can't really do that because I haven't been doing that for the other ones, and I don't want one either. I don't think they look good customized at all, and the patch on there, no. So I might have to compromise on the player that I'm gonna get, like a little bit more. Like if I see something that's available for a decent price, I might just like, you know what, maybe I could get it changed later down the line, but I was clearly torn about which player to choose, so
I was gonna say at least there was no number 24 anyway.
right. So it gives me some wiggle
So,
room. I did buy the patch actually. The cup patch is on the way, so I'll get that at some point.
That's good. So before figuring out this recent news that the Panthers jerseys were sold out, did you land on a player that you were going to go with, or were you still debating?
I think I was going to go with Forsling. Was the player that I was thinking about because I liked the whole 42, like 24 backwards. I thought was pretty fun, and he's a good player who just signed an extension, so that's a nice little bonus. But I know Pantherland had an Ekblad that was available, but I don't even know. I mean, it might already be gone, and it was for like $285, which like just for an Adidas jersey on its own, and it didn't have the patch with it. Like that's a lot.
How much is the patch by itself?
It was $18 with shipping.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna guess 20. So
yeah, it's still available. Man, I don't know. It's like
purchase it live.
Ekblad isn't bad. Yeah, probably not live, but I might think about it. I don't know. It's a lot.
Read out your credit card.
Yeah.
If Dean wins the quiz later, you have to buy the jersey live on the podcast.
Oh boy.
And buy me a Bruins one too.
Purposely buzzes in late every time.
Yeah, maybe not.
That's a no.
Yeah, well, guess he's got to win first, and then I'll really have to make my decision, right? But before we get to that,
make him proud, Dean.
Yeah, do your best, or not.
I'll try.
Before we get to that,
we get a cheat sheet.
A cheat sheet? What? No. Like a word bank.
No, we should do the where you the week before you tell us what the quiz is on, and we could write down, like in college you get one sheet of paper, the front side, and we could just go to whatever Wikipedia articles, YouTube videos, and just write down whatever we think might be important.
Yeah, you get one index card to fill up with, and you're here's my little thing. You can barely read anything on there.
Here's the standings in this corner of last year, the player milestones.
Yeah.
Just a picture of Gritty for good luck.
Shrink it down.
You're gonna sacrifice space for the Gritty.
Teams don't have a mascot.
Yeah.
Oh, Dean's got that one on lock.
Oh.
That clip was featured in our clip compilation. If you haven't checked that out, please do. A little plug for that one there, because it's underperforming a little bit for what I would have hoped for with the amount of effort we put in. So please check it out. I did let a couple people know over the weekend to check it out that haven't done so. I know Sandroni did. He texted me and he said it was pretty funny. So thanks, Sandroni. I hope you enjoyed your clips. We had a little Sandroni segment in there that was pretty good.
Yeah, ideally the hours spent to hours viewed, if that could get equal, then that would be a lot of views.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I don't know exactly how many we spent. I feel like maybe 60 or 70 total.
Yeah,
with
that's what I was
like
thinking.
how much time I spent just rewatching the clips or all the episodes.
That's like 140 views, because a half hour.
Yeah. So that would be a cool number to hit.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Anyways, let's first get to the First Nation Faceoff. So, we have a little bit more nations information about that. Also, I said First Nation instead of Four Nations, I'm pretty sure. So it's four.
Four Nation Freeze.
Four Nation Freeze, yeah. So we have had the first 6 players named for the 4 teams. So I'll just quickly rip through. Canada naming Crosby, McKinnon, Marchand, McDavid, Point, and Cale Makar. I don't know why I said Cale at the end. Sweden naming Forsberg, Nylander, Zibanejad, Forsling, Hedman, and Carlson. So 3 forwards, 3 defensemen. Finland with Aho, Barkov, Rantanen, Heiskanen, Lindell, and Saros, doubling up on the Dallas D there. And with the USA, we've got Eichel, Matthews, Matthew Tkachuk, Fox, Quinn Hughes, and Charlie McAvoy. So obviously those are all pretty good selections. How
Yeah, I
how
like
do you
that they
guys
actually,
feel?
they didn't release the whole team. They just did the top 6, so it seems like they're all pretty equal until you see like the depth of the team.
Depth of Finland is gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, we're really starting to drop off.
And
here.
also how some teams, well, I guess only Finland announced a goalie, so like you still don't know. You can still have that debate with the other teams who you think will be the goalies. Are more obvious than other. I feel like U.S. has like plenty of choices. Canada not so much.
No.
But yeah, overall, I mean, I think all the teams are looking good. Obviously Canada and USA are the ones that are looking really good. I think they were already talking about having like McKinnon, Crosby, Marchand on the line together because they're all from basically the same place in Canada. So that'd be cool.
Nova Scotia, Cole Harbor.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. And then you also have McDavid on that team too.
Oh yeah, he's there too.
And Braden Point and Cale Makar. So yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I think the goalie thing will be interesting. I do like
US,
Team USA.
For the patriotism and for the goaltending.
Yeah, they have either Swayman or Hellebuck. Probably both of them will be featured in some capacity. So that's pretty good compared to Canada. It has like Bennington, Jari, Hill. It's already starting to get a little dicey. Do we still have that image up? No, we don't. I don't remember a ton of the other Canadian options, but yeah, that's gonna be a big factor. How are you feeling, Gifford?
I'm excited. I think like releasing this when they did is definitely helpful to get that excitement. And like Dean said, I think it's smart that you just release 6 players because then it's like, oh my god, like look at how stacked these teams are, and it's like obviously it'll drop off a little bit. But I'm definitely excited to see how this plays out. Do we know what the exact format is? How they're working this with the 4 teams? Is it round robin or how are they playing one another?
I believe we have some information. I don't have it on hand though, and I don't remember exactly, but I do think we do have some info. I think it's like, we know the arenas that they're gonna play in, and you can't really do groups, so I think it must be some form of of a round robin for seeding, and then
Oh, here we go.
semifinal matchups.
I'm looking it up now. It says there's 2 practice days that are held prior, and then it's the 12th to the 20th of February. 7 total games will be played. Tournaments held in a round robin format, with teams winning 3 points for regulation win, 2 points for overtime or shootout win, 1 point for overtime or shootout loss, 0 points for the regulation loss, which that's the same as the PWHL point system, right?
Yes.
Each team will play 3 games, and the 2 teams with the most points will advance to a 1-game final. So, congratulations, Canada and US. We'll see you in the finals. And then it just says that overtime will be 10 minutes, 3-on-3 sudden death period, which again, that'll be really cool to see. And then followed by a 3-round shootout if for some reason no one scores in a 10-minute 3-on-3 overtime period. And then the final won't have a shootout. It'll be consecutive 20-minute 5-on-5. But I'm looking forward to that 10-minute 3-on-3 just to see how that plays out in comparison to if we even get there, in compared to the 5 minutes that we have now.
No guarantees
in current hockey. Like, imagine like a 10-minute 3-on-3 Canada. Well, actually, I guess that can't happen because if Canada and the US were in the final. But like if those 2 are playing one another and it's like deep into a 10-minute 3-on-3, like that's just exciting hockey to watch.
Yeah, and these games are going to be played in Canada and US, so obviously a bit of a home field advantage for those teams compared to the European groups, but only so much you can do about that unless you have, if it's just a North American thing or it's just a European thing. But yeah, it should be pretty fun.
Are you considering going to one of the games since they're hosting some of them in TD Garden?
Yeah, Montreal and Boston are going to be the 2 locations, so both of those are close, and apparently my county is closest to the Bruins compared to any other county, so I haven't ruled it out, but I don't know yet. Be kind of cool. Be different.
I guess we'll have to see what ticket prices are, but yeah, if ticket prices are reasonable, like that'd be something fun to see live.
Yeah, and so that'll be in place of an all-star weekend this upcoming season. So I'm cool with that. Kind of fun to get a little bit of a reprieve from the all-star weekend stuff because we just haven't had best on best in so long. Even though this isn't, again, the format that we were hoping for, it's still a step in the right direction.
So what happens to the all-star votes? Like they just win, they're an all-star, and that's it. They don't do anything with it.
I don't even know if they will do like votes. I guess they probably
so there won't
will,
even be
but
votes this year.
They might not.
No. That'd be weird. I can see them not. Yeah, if they're doing this, like obviously half of these guys, if not more, are going to be all-stars. But it would be weird if a guy wins all-star, he's not on one of these rosters, and then it's like, well, I won, but like there's no like celebration or week I get to spend with all these guys. Maybe they go to watch the 4 Nations, but
yeah, I mean, if they wanted to, they could probably find a way to shoehorn something like that in, but I don't know. I feel like they won't bother with it. I don't think fans will be too upset if an all-star team and group isn't named. So they'll just be focused on the 4 Nations festivities.
Yeah, this will definitely be better, more competitive for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of these sort of challenge things, did you guys see this whole USA Hockey National Development Program versus CHL challenge that they're going to be doing?
I only saw the tweet.
I have not, but I'm intrigued.
So what it is there'll be a 2-game series between the U.S. Hockey's National Development Program and the top first-year NHL draft-eligible prospects from the CHL's 3 member leagues. So the WHL, the OHL, and the QMJHL. So it'll basically just be like a little face-off between Canada and U.S. with the prospects, which I think is going to be really cool. It's basically like a mini World Juniors, just a mini North American World Juniors essentially. So that's fun because I do think for a while Canada was it. It was like, yeah, Canada has the best programs and the best players for the most part. But I think the U.S. has just been developing hockey a lot better than in previous years, and there are a lot of really talented players across the country. So I think it'll be fun, and it will be close too.
It should be fun to watch. Do you know when that's happening?
Yeah,
like preseason.
I was just wondering. November 2024.
Okay.
I don't know if they have a set date or location at the moment.
A month is good enough for me.
Yeah, we will know more as we get closer, of course. But that's
just like
fun.
we hinted at with the Four Nations. Any excuse to have U.S. hockey players play Canada hockey players equals viewership. So
yeah, no doubt about that.
Definitely one more reason, for them to make money and get more exposure to the sport.
Sure.
Speaking of...
Oh.
No, well, I was gonna segue that you just ruined it, so you can continue on CHL if that's what you're gonna do.
No, I wasn't.
Well, my segue was gonna be, speaking of other non-NHL teams, it reminded me about the Major League Hockey, and I just looked, still no update.
Yep. Yeah. No.
Didn't come during the
expectation there.
finals.
No, then nothing at the
Website
draft.
is exactly the same.
It's not looking good.
I feel like if you get an update, you should be nervous. Like, no update is good because it just means we're just done, we're moving on. But like an update means they're dragging this along when it's already kind of a circus and we haven't seen anything actually materialize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This last part at the bottom might be new. Get hired. If you meet these criteria, use the button below. Players not drafted are welcome to attend 3-day free agent camps in Toronto or Minneapolis in September. Registration instructions will be posted on the website in August.
See, Brendan can swing his podcast into a job with Major League Hockey.
Oh
Sounds like
boy.
a great idea.
Or you can go play and go to the free agent camp.
Yeah.
See if you get on the team.
Yeah, I think I could probably play with the best of them by then.
Yeah. Well, it's not
You
the,
could
quite
probably
the best.
play Major League Hockey.
Yeah, well, probably not.
I think everyone can play Major League Hockey.
Would you do it? Would you would they have to pay you, or would you just do it for free if they were like, yeah, you can play? Or how much would they have to pay you to be like?
Well, they do have a salary cap, so I think legally they would have to pay me.
So what? Well, let's say league minimum is like, I don't know. Well, I guess salary wise would be a yearly. Like if they're like, hey, we'll give you $20,000 for the year if you play in this league.
I mean,
You can
they wouldn't want me. They
do that
would.
with your other job.
You know, I don't think.
I feel like
I don't
you
think
need
it would
more
work
than-
out.
You need more than $20,000 to pay those medical bills.
Yeah.
It's I'd have to get paid a decent amount because like I feel like I would be risking my life not knowing how to play hockey, being out there on the ice with guys who know how to play.
We
So,
should
like,
be
you gotta
asking
cover my
you.
medical
Might be
bills
more-
and pay me a sum.
I think it would be more dangerous for me than Brendan, because Brendan would never touch the puck, so he wouldn't have to worry about getting hit. I just have the puck and skate with my head down, and we get rocked.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, you're the one who knows how to actually play hockey. Well, like knows how. Like you played it, and we haven't. So you'd
Yeah.
probably be the.
Which I think would be worse, because I would get myself hurt.
Yeah, they wouldn't even
You
bother
wouldn't be
with
a
me.
threat.
Yeah,
you
they'll,
wouldn't
like-
just be like hugging the boards.
Just let him go. Yeah. We'll quickly
Okay,
touch
you can-
on that the Capitals have have promoted Chris Patrick to Senior Vice President and GM. So Brian McClellan, who was GM, will now be just remain as the President of Hockey Operations. So it's just a little news there. And I did see this fun little note that that Chris Patrick's brother, his cousin Steve, is the drummer for the band Young Rising Suns, and he had a fun little tweet about how his cousin and him took very different career paths. He's like, yeah, I woke up at 11 hungover, ate a bunch of Cheerios, and then binged Stranger Things. So, yeah, we had a little bit of different career path.
Nice.
So, little new. I don't know how much this will really change as far as the direction of the team, especially because they made this move after they made all of their free agent signings, essentially. So it's like, okay, sure, we'll give you the keys now, but don't mess with my baby too much, please.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's because we're running out of time here, let's get to this regular season quiz. So we've got 13 questions. We are gonna do it, where both players have an opportunity to score, because I think that'll be more fun. I think we'll just do a straight 1 point for a correct answer, 0 points for wrong answer. So I want to encourage answers, essentially.
Are we doing them all at once or one at a time?
We'll do one at a time.
Okay.
I don't think it shouldn't take too long. So let's just jump right in. Number 1, what was the matchup for the opening game of the regular season?
Oh, I think I know this one.
What could it be?
I'm not.
Oops.
Remotely.
I'll have to make sure I actually keep score on my end too.
Oh, actually, I think. Wait, maybe I do. Maybe I do know it. All right. Locked in.
Okay. Reveal. Well, I guess I don't know. Are we doing reveal, or do you want to just say? I'll go.
Reveal.
Dean. Yeah. Okay. Reveal. Penguins versus Blackhawks.
You probably can't read. You probably can't read it, but I do have Penguins versus Blackhawks. I scribbled out Knights.
Unfortunately, you are both incorrect.
Oh.
That was on opening day. That matchup did happen, but the first game before that was Nashville versus Tampa Bay.
Because I remember the whole Connor Bedard with the ref mic'd up, and I was like, that's got to be the first one.
You'd think.
Like, welcome to the season. Yeah.
But no.
But that was probably prime time. So it was like the 7:00 game, and then it was probably like 8 or something, right? Eastern time.
I think it was like a 4:00 or something, or 5:00 start. The Nashville game.
Weird. Wait, was it a weekend or a weekday?
I think it was a weekday. Like, it was weird. I remember when it was like.
All right. Well, I'm glad we both got the same wrong answer.
Yeah. So.
Hey, I got a game that was on that day.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'll take it. I just remember the campaign of
Tampa Bay.
The campaign of Tampa Bay, which I do remember now that you say that was the earlier game. But I was just remembering the campaign of the young guy versus the old guy.
Yeah, the first face-off of the game. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't intending on it being a trick question, but there you go.
Oh, well.
Okay. Similar vein here. So I've got name the matchups for the Heritage Classic, the Stadium Series, and the Winter Classic.
All right.
And I have on here bonus points if you know who won. I don't need the full score, but if you know who won those games.
Wait, do I lose points for guessing? It's a 50-50.
No, I don't feel like negating any points. So if you just go for your best chance.
I don't know why I'm now writing the cities and last round I wrote the team name, but anyway.
And I switched cities to mascots on it as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually just drew logos, the pictures of the logos. I hope you can decipher.
Oh great.
I'm just gonna circle who I think won each one.
Okay.
And then stadium.
I'm gonna
series.
circle, and because you can't see mine, I'm just gonna say mine first, and then Dean can show us, and we'll compare.
Okay. How we doing? I don't have a timer.
I'm writing the
I'm-
stadium series. I have the other one.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good. I only have 2 of the 3. I'm not even gonna take a shot at the other one.
I remember all 4 teams in the stadium series. I just don't know who played who.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I should think about the jerseys. And,
There you go.
I mean, I'm gonna do the one that just makes sense. All right, let me just circle some random teams here.
So you don't remember?
I know. Oh, I know Winter Classic. We talked about that one.
Yeah, Gifford should know that one too.
Okay. Are you ready?
I don't want to speak of that game ever again.
Gifford, let's have you reveal.
So what was the order that you
Heritage
had set
Classic was the first one.
Okay, Heritage Classic. That I'm not 100% sure. I'm saying Edmonton versus somebody, but I have no. I honestly could not remember who was in that series.
It was Edmonton versus Calgary. So Battle of Alberta.
I'm gonna hold my thing here so
All
you know
right.
I'm not cheating.
So I was close, and I didn't have somebody circled. I mean, I guess I would circle Edmonton because that's the only team I knew.
They did win. They won 5-2.
Oops.
Okay. Should I share all of mine?
Yeah, let's go through your whole list. So the Stadium Series.
So Stadium Series, I'm going Devil. I think it's Devils, Rangers, and it's Islanders, Flyers, and I think it's the Rangers and the Islanders that won.
Incorrect. For everything.
Everything?
Both of those matchups were incorrect.
Okay. Nice. So I must have had him backwards.
So I'm not going to give you a point for guessing the winning team
and
if
then
it was
Winter Classic.
incorrect.
Okay. And then Seattle obviously won against Vegas in the Winter Classic, and we won't speak of that game ever again.
So I'll give you 2 points for that
Got
one.
a shutout in that game. Do I get an extra point for saying it was a shutout?
No.
Who won the Coco Cup? It was
Who won the Coco trophy? What was it?
Yeah, Coco Cup.
The Coco Cup. Okay.
Yeah, Joey
it's the
Decord.
goalie of the Kraken, but I like Joey Decord. Yeah.
First
All right,
ever.
All right, Dean, what do you got?
I also realized that I accidentally wrote Stadium Series twice, but the top Stadium Series is the Heritage Classic.
Okay.
I guessed the team that won wrong, but I got the 2 teams. And then I also got the Winter Classic one.
Okay.
And then I'm guessing I went with the obvious, the 2 New York teams, but I'm guessing that's also wrong, and that it's whatever Gifford had, but reversed.
Nope, you have it correct.
Nice. Did I get any of the winners right?
You got both of them right.
Ooh, that's a lot of points.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I see. Now this is my initial thought was Rangers versus Islanders, but I thought when we had talked about it before, we said the New York teams didn't face each other. So that's why I switched it and I went with Devils, Rangers, and Islanders, Flyers.
Yeah, that's because in that episode I had thought that I had messed it up, but I'd actually gotten it right, and we later went back and backtracked on it. So I can see why the confusion was had if you were on that video.
Did I just get 7 points?
Yes, you did. 7 points, Dean. You nailed it, except for the Calgary.
Right, so I can just bomb the rest and not get that embarrassed.
Maybe. We'll see. Starting with question 3. Which goalie scored a goal in the NHL this season?
When we were going through the top 50 goalies, I almost mentioned this person should be hired because they scored a goal.
Oh.
I'm glad I didn't know.
Good thing. Dean? Tristan Jarry. That is correct. Nothing Gifford.
See, now you say it, I know it, but yeah, I didn't have it.
Ah, tough break. And there
Who
was
scored a goal the year before?
Linus Ullmark.
See, that's probably who I would have gone with. Linus Ullmark.
And there was also a goalie, Alex Nedeljkovic, scored in the AHL. I believe
we were talking about that, but I would not have remembered the
I
name.
think he scored
I
twice,
do remember
actually.
talking about that as well.
Or maybe he has scored twice, maybe not in the same season, but no credits for that one. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. And we do have a coaching question. Name 3 head coaches who were fired during the season.
During the season,
Yeah.
not the preseason. Not Mike Babcock.
No, I will give you that. Mike Babcock would not count.
My spelling's gonna be really bad.
Okay.
During the season, if I give team name or if I give teams instead of coaches, do I get any points?
You get 0 points.
So I have to have a name.
Yep. I'll tell you, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
There was a
6,
lot.
7 candidates, and then there were
Yeah.
other ones that were fired, but
Oh.
after the season. So that's a little bit of a hint, but. Tough. It's tough.
I think I have 2.
Okay.
I don't have to. I can tell you I don't have to.
Do you have 1?
I mean, I can think of some. Actually, wait. He fired? Or no, he was fired. I think he was fired mid. I think he was. Like I can probably think of teams, but like I don't know if I can think of coaches' names.
I don't know. Should we put a clock on this, Dean?
I have one.
1.
I have 3, but the third one, I don't know if it's right.
Okay. I think we'll just have to cut our losses here, unless Gifford's got something cooking in the last 2 or 3 seconds here.
No, I'm going. My one is Ruff of the Devils.
Lindy Ruff. That is correct. That is
Yeah.
that is
that
an
one
acceptable
too.
answer. Okay.
Let's go. I'll take a point on that.
Dean, your
Oh,
other
wait.
selections.
Ooh, I just realized this is wrong because Knobloch is who they hired, right?
I'm afraid,
come
yes,
on.
Chris Knobloch was hired.
What
And
about Dean Evison?
Dean Evison is correct. Dean
Okay.
Evison is
I
correct.
can't remember if he got hired or fired.
Um,
Yeah. Wait, who was wait, don't tell me. Who was the
I
I'm
can
not gonna
picture
know.
the Edmonton coach. I can picture the Edmonton coach, but I can't think of his name. It's not Wood something, is it?
it might-
Woodcroft?
Is it Woodcroft? Woodcroft?
Yeah, Jay Woodcroft.
Okay.
And then who? Oh, I know Steve Stais now, but he got hired, right?
Well,
Who was-
general manager, not coach.
Oh, yeah, the GM. Yeah, even like some coaches
And
GM.
the
are
Kraken
like,
coach was at the end of the season, right?
Right. So yeah, Dave Haxall would not have counted for this one. Same with
And
David
then-
Quinn.
Okay.
Laviolette got hired this season, right?
That was at the beginning of. I think that was at the end of last season.
Okay.
So I'll just give you the other ones that were fired. Todd McClellan with the Kings, Jay Woodcroft we mentioned, Craig Berube with the Blues, DJ Smith with the Ottawa Senators, and Lane Lambert with the Islanders. So
Bunch of bums.
yeah, a couple bums, but now we are going to lead into the next question. 3 coaches who were hired / named during the
Oh.
season. So you guys got a freebie there.
Well.
You got a freebie, which I was hoping you wouldn't get, but that's okay. You did spell Chris wrong, but I'll give it to you.
I thought it was K. But
Yeah, it is a
well.
K.
I'm gonna spell it the same way,
Dean.
and the last name.
There are 1, 2,
That's unfortunate,
3,
'cause that's
4,
one I
5,
knew.
6, 7. Also 7 candidates for this one. Makes sense.
Well, it's good they're talking about Laviolette because I would have put him too. But he was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, you would not get any credit for that one. Do you have any besides Knobloch?
I'm realizing
Gifford?
now.
I don't either.
Oh.
No, I'm realizing that it's like you say all these names, and it's like I know who you're talking about, but like when you put me on the spot, it's like I feel like I need to research these coaches better.
It's not so easy, right? Like I feel like an idiot when I do these quizzes.
It's tough. It's
Yeah,
tough.
it's like what have been. It's like it's not like I haven't like been watching hockey. Like
I talked
all the
about all
time
these. I
the
said all these
last-
coaches' names.
Yep, you did. So I'll give you each the 1 point, I guess, for the gimme there.
I had
Woo.
the K for you, bro.
Oh my God.
Nah, blah.
So the other possible answers were Jim Hiller with the Kings, John Hines with the Wild, Drew Bannister with the Blues, Jacques Martin, who was then let go at the end of the season with the Senators, Patrick Waugh with the Islanders, and Travis Green was promoted to the Devils, and then he later went to Ottawa.
Most
at
of
the end
those,
the
I'm
season.
like, yeah, I shouldn't have gotten those. But like Patrick Waugh, I was like, yeah, we have to talk so much about that. With
I watched one of Patrick Waugh's first games as a head coach live, and I forgot.
Yep,
yeah, we talked about it in the group chat.
I do
Yeah,
remember that.
I watched game. I want to say it's like game 2 or 3. I think I watched of his.
I think it was 2, yeah.
It might have been 2. Yeah, maybe it was even his first home game. I don't even know.
Could have been. We'll keep trucking here. Which team scored on themselves during a delayed penalty this season?
Oh, mine's an
1 in
educated guess.
32 shot. It's not. Well, actually, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to eliminate teams for Dean because he's going to use the knowledge I'm giving him anyway.
He's already written an answer down.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want now.
He feels good.
Locked in.
Yeah, he's locked in.
I feel okay.
Dun 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 dun. Tss. Yeah.
I'm going with the Oilers, but I think that's totally wrong.
Dean, please reveal. Penguins. Pittsburgh Penguins score on
So it was like-
themselves in
Isn't
Mullet
it-
Arena.
Malkin was around the area. I forget if he was the one that did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a
I
pass
told you
back.
the on ice stuff I'm a lot better with than the off ice stuff.
Yeah, it was a pass back from Chris Letang to Malkin, and he just like flubbed it and couldn't handle it, and then it went right in. And the Coyotes were up like 5-1 already at that point or something like that, so it was a pretty rough go for the Penguins. So that was a fun one. Which team won the NHL All-Star Game? I won't need any score or anything like that.
I think it was still just the 4 divisions still, right?
This is where maybe I got a chance here. Let me.
I didn't even watch it. I watched the skills competition.
Yeah, I don't have any skills competition questions in this one, unfortunately.
What was? Wait, I can think of. I think it was just. Right in this.
Think about the season,
Alright,
Dean.
I have my,
The coverage.
I have my guess.
Okay, Gifford's locked in. Cap on the marker. Let's reveal.
I'm gonna say Team McKinnon.
No, Dean, it was not Team Michael Bublé.
That was Team Hughes, right? But it wasn't McKinnon. Team McKinnon won.
It was not Team McKinnon. So you guys named the two teams that did not make the finals, as it was Team
So
Matthews,
it was
taking it 7 points over Team McDavid with 4. So.
Okay.
Would you have given me that if I
At
got the
least
celebrity captain right?
No.
Oh.
No.
It was
Part of the team.
I could name.
Part of the team, but not really.
Will Arnett was with who?
He was with Edmonton.
Yeah, he was
What?
with Edmonton, and
He didn't
then
win.
Matthews and Bieber were together, and then Bublé and the Hughes brothers were together, and then the girl that I can't name was with McKinnon.
Tate McRae.
McRae.
Yep.
I didn't know who she was when the All-Star break was happening, so like
Me
I
either.
wasn't gonna remember her name now.
How about the name of this player who scored a controversial empty net goal?
Oh,
Controversial.
Certainly featured on this podcast as well.
and in the clip show, well, a reaction of it, something. I'm gonna stop talking.
Okay.
I'm probably totally off. I'm just throwing a shot in the dark.
Okay.
We're going with Sam Reinhart.
Dean is correct with Ridley Gregg.
Yeah.
That
I
was
was
the
thinking
Ottawa
about that.
Senators slap shot goal into the empty net against the Leafs. Cost Morgan Riley 5-game suspension and was overall a pretty fun time on Twitter for the next couple of days.
And then Zach Spears was talking about how his friend got like Ridley Gregg's sister's number.
Yeah.
He's like, not me. Like, I had nothing to do with it. 'Cause
Not me. I'm married.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. So I did not give Dean the point for that one. My apologies, Dean. Okay, you're good to go now. Name one Bread Loves Hockey podcast episode title.
Oh no.
Just one. Not related to the regular season, of course, but our coverage. I don't think this should be too difficult
I
for
feel like
Dean.
it really shouldn't have been, but like I barely got one after staring at him for hours. Then we had talked about them too, like remembering them, and we literally went through and
We harken back, yeah.
Yeah.
Gifford, I don't
feel like
know. We'll see.
It's
I
kind of a
mean,
less fair question for Gifford. But
yeah, it is. But also, you're covering it every week, and he's not, so it's always going to be a little unfair.
Sure.
But, yeah.
And like I can think about the topics of some of the shows that I've been on, but I can't like specifically remember that episode. I don't think it's one. I know there's obviously Owen episodes related to the Senators. So I'm gonna go with Sad Sens Land, but I don't know if that's actually an episode title.
I'm afraid not. Dean, please reveal. Papa Bear. That is an acceptable answer for Steve's first episode. I think that's episode 29.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not getting the number.
Yeah, no, I definitely wasn't gonna ask for that. I don't really know most of those either. So, yeah, I just thought that.
Well,
would
what
be
about
fun.
quizzing you? Do you know what episode 1 was titled?
You know what? I was
Right
actually
now.
thinking about that, and I'm not entirely sure I do know what it was called. Oh, you know what? It's called Two Nerds Talk Hockey, I believe.
Oh, yeah. I came up with that one.
You did. Yeah,
I could
remember
have just
decent
done
amount of them.
Brett's jersey collection, and it would have counted.
No.
I was thinking that
No, I wouldn't have accepted that. It wasn't an episode title. It was a
that's
video
a spin-off
title.
of the
A
Bread of
spin-off.
Hockey series.
Yeah.
Or season 1 clip show, because I did the thumbnail. Like I could have done that one. No. The last one I was on was astronomical odds in trade deadline guides, which I definitely wouldn't have done.
That's one of my favorite episode
I was
titles,
thinking
actually.
about the Prodigal Season Returns. I was on Historic, all with spaced out. And
Oh,
Even
yeah.
Battered. Even Battered is the one that I was thinking of, but I couldn't think of the title name.
That's a good one. We'll keep trucking here. Which team upset Canada at the World Juniors?
I actually don't know this one.
I can take a guess, but I feel like that's what I've already been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also taking a guess.
I think I'm wrong.
Juniors. As opposed to World, which just happened after. Not too long ago.
They
I
all
have a guess.
get mixed together.
Yeah, one of those national tournaments.
This is the Christmas time one.
And just a complete guess.
Dean with Latvia. Incorrect.
I went with Sweden.
Sweden is also incorrect. It was
The Czech?
Czechia.
Oh! Well, because
And I see.
they also won the other thing with pasta. So I was
Oh,
like, well,
yeah.
it's not them. I'm like, because that's the other one. But then they also, yeah, oh,
They
well,
had a pretty good year.
I guess so.
They did. No, Sweden was the one that but they weren't the ones who beat Canada, but I think it was Team USA who ended up winning the gold medal over Sweden, I believe. Anywho, name 2 50-goal scorers from this season. And there are 4 options.
I got this.
I think this should be doable.
I'm fairly confident.
You know what? Because you're down by so much, I will give you an extra point if you get all 4.
I need one more.
Well, then,
Who else would that be?
I'll let him try. Do I get a point for making a funny joke in mine?
Doubtful.
Who are? Let's see.
How
I
many?
don't
I'm
know
not
if I
gonna
can hold to the 4th, but I have 3.
3.
I
Okay.
have just 2.
All right. We'll have Gifford go first.
Well, we're gonna go with the 2 I'm most confident in. So we're gonna go with McKinnon and Matthews, but I also have Kucherov.
Okay, so McKinnon and Matthews are both acceptable answers. Kucherov is not. But you
Is
did
not
get,
in the 4.
but you did get the 1 point for the 2
Yep.
players.
Yep.
Let's see what we have for Dean. Ooh, sweeping through. It's Matthews Reinhardt. That is an acceptable answer, yes.
Did you see what I wrote?
I sure did. Not Sam Bennett. Thanks, Dean, for rubbing that in.
You're welcome.
And I'm thinking, Cooch was points, not goals.
I mean, did
Maybe
McDavid
that's
have 50 goals? Well, he had 100 points, but he had like a
No,
million
yeah, I
assists.
think he was points as well. He was a points leader, but not
So
goals.
I'll give you the goal totals. So Matthews led the league with 67, Reinhardt with 57, Hyman with 54, Zach Hyman, the one you guys did not name,
True.
and McKinnon with 51.
Hyman's crazy.
Yeah, I thought that would be one of the ones that you guys would have remembered because it was so crazy, but I guess
Well,
not.
and the playoffs, he just was still scoring a lot.
He was, but so was Reinhardt.
Yeah.
And so you guys did mention a couple of these already, but 5 100-point players is what I'm looking for this penultimate question here.
You gotta tell us. You gotta tell us if we're gonna spoil another question.
Well, I didn't know how far you guys were going to be going with this one, but that's all right.
Well, I got 3 off the bat.
That's good.
Yeah, I got 3 off the bat too.
There are 8 possible answers,
I actually got 5 out of 8. That's crazy.
but you should be able to do it.
All right. I'll reveal first, I think.
Sure.
I don't know if we've been alternating or not.
McCarr, McDavid, Kucherov, Draisaitl, McKinnon, and Matthews. You have can I see? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 out of 6 correct.
Okay.
So who doesn't he, or who's wrong on that list?
McCarr and Draisaitl did not get 100 points this season.
Oh, McCarr was the
Alright.
year before.
Yep.
Okay, so the first 4 that I came up with were Kucherov, McKinnon, McDavid, and I'm assuming Pasta was up there. And then the 2 that I added after are Matthews, and then based off of the playoffs, I think Artemi Panarin was also on the list. So I'm going with those 6.
You went 6 for 6, Gifford. Your first 3 were in order of point total. So it was
Really?
Kucherov led the league with 144 points, McKinnon with 140, McDavid with 132, Panarin 120, Pasternak with 110, Matthews with 107, Rantanen with 104, and JT Miller with 103. So,
Okay. So I wouldn't have gotten the other 2.
6 for 6, I'd say, is pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew Kucherov was like when I went for the goals, it was points instead. But then I don't know where Panarin came from, but it just popped into my head.
That's pretty. Yeah, that was a pretty good rip there. I was like,
Hey, at least I impressed with something.
Yeah, not too
I did
shabby.
something right.
And
How many questions we got left?
we now enter the final question.
Is it the final boss?
Yes, it is. Look to your left. Look to your right. Look down the center. It's time to fight. Kaiba. Yeah. The question is, and I actually am going to quickly cover up my camera here for a moment because...
Which jersey will Brennan put on from his jersey rack?
No, it's not a random question. The question is, name 3 pieces of hockey memorabilia in my studio, excluding jerseys. And I also put on here that Dean has to name 5 because he gets to look at me all the time.
Wait. So it's excluding jerseys.
No jerseys.
It has to be hockey related.
Has to be hockey related, which that's pretty much everything that you'll see in here, except for maybe my air conditioner.
Well, you also have a Buffalo Bills pennant that's right next to you. I know that.
Yes, I do.
And memorabilia, like, is that anything or is that?
It's pretty loose.
Okay.
I actually did put the Bills pennant on here accidentally as an answer, but it is not hockey memorabilia, so I am going to remove it.
All right. I feel like I should get a bonus point for that, even though I just saw your screen, but I knew that ahead of time.
I put at the end here 1 trillion points if you name an item previously in an episode that is no longer in the background. So, good luck.
All right, well, I have 5 things written. So.
Okay. Oh.
Oh.
There. Hold on,
well,
folks.
I was already. Okay. I think we're.
So I
I
guess.
see 2 of them.
Okay. Let's see Gifford's because he only has 3 options first. Let's see what he wrote down.
Oh well, I'll give you everything I wrote down.
Okay.
But the one thing that I thought of that I was about to mention is I was thinking, I don't know why I was thinking it was just a beer related sign. I should have known that it was hockey related. So the Heineken Islanders. But anyway, what I wrote down was Vegas wins newspaper, which is in the background. The Red Loves Hockey podcast logo, if we're counting that.
I have that too. So.
Yes.
That's why I have to repeat the question.
And then these are getting more generic. I have a hockey stick because I didn't know if there was any relevance. I just knew that you had a stick on the floor somewhere, at least at some point. Again, I knew that there was ball caps hanging up, but I didn't know what the ball caps were specific to. I knew there was pennants hanging up, but I didn't know what they were specific to. And then I know you have a Vegas flag, but I guess it's not in the background.
It is not. It is at my office. It is a banner.
Okay.
But you did get 3.
So,
I do consider the hockey stick to be part of hockey memorabilia, so you got the full credit for that one. Let's reveal Dean's list here.
I think I do as well.
Okay. We've got the Sharks pool noodle. Yes, very good. We've got the lunchbox, the retro lunchbox. The well, it's not a pennant per se.
The shape of a pendant.
Yeah, it is a sign. The logo and then the wooden hockey stick, not bad. Okay, so I think I would probably give it to you.
I don't know what you even call that.
It's a Heineken metal sign.
Well, I can't tell if it's metal from here. It looks like it could be cloth for all I know.
Yeah, it is metal, but it is hard to tell from there. So I am okay with giving you the points for that. I
have 2 questions.
Go ahead.
What are the ball caps? Are they specific to teams?
Yes, there is a Canucks retro sort of thing there, a Canucks hat, and this one is an Ottawa Senators reverse retro 1.0 hat that I got when I got my reverse retro 1.0 jersey. So that's what that one is. And
where's the Sharks pool noodle?
Sharks pool noodle is right down here.
Oh, okay.
In the bottom left.
I was mistaking that now as a hockey stick, but I don't know.
Nah, the hockey stick
generic.
The hockey stick is in the back. Here, look, I'm giving you all the good stuff that you don't normally get to see. Probably can't hear me very well though. I guess I should move back over here. So I'll quickly rip through what I wrote down as possible answers. So the Maple Leafs pennant, which you can see next to the Islanders one there. The Islanders Heineken sign, the reverse retro hat, the Canucks hat, which I got in Missoula when I was visiting Owen, the Knights Win Cup framed newspaper, the Chandler Stevenson reverse retro 2.0 signed photo, which you can see sort of down there. You can't really tell that that's what it is, but it is down there. Adirondack Thunder puck signed by Coach Pete MacArthur. Fun little thing there, which you can barely see on the windowsill in the corner right there. We've got the Rod Brindamore Flyers mini stick, which you can also barely see on the windowsill. I wouldn't expect anybody to get that. There is a puck down there. There is the wooden hockey stick. There is the Bauer helmet box, which is what the lunch box is sitting on. Let's see what else we've got here. The lunch box, the noodle. We've got the things over here, which is the Vegas pennant. Bree made this Vegas sign for me, which is very nice. And we have an Eric Lindros signed frame there. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, we got the Teddy Bluger signed photograph on the top there. There's actually a Stanley Cup Final 2014 patch that's on the floor. I got it with something, and I didn't ask for it, but I didn't want to throw it away. We also have a NHL Magazine Summer 1989 copy. And we have a Winterfest poster from the Buffalo versus Blue Jackets game that I went to with Bree and her family. I think that's pretty much everything. So, yeah. Oh, and the Trillion Point items, if you care, I did have the Caps 2018 Stanley Cup champion hat that I gave to Sam, was in a couple of the episodes, I believe, before I gave it to him. And I did have a hockey helmet that was over there at one point, too. So, there you go. If you wanted to get a breakdown of all my stuff, that's what I've got right now.
I'll give Gifford an extra point if he can guess what jersey this is.
Ooh, that is a good one.
You know what it is, Brendan, right?
I do know what it is.
I'm going to go with Bergeron.
Nope, that one's right there.
No.
It is Chara.
Chara.
Oh, okay.
I feel like you maybe see a couple threes and a little bit of yellow.
Yeah, a little bit there. And I think you have been able to see it a little bit more clearly in other episodes, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I know you guys had him on in that one episode when
Owen was there, yeah. Or was he wearing the Tim Thomas one?
One of them was Bergeron.
I think he went with the Thomas, maybe.
And he also has the Torrey Krug jersey as well. And
don't give it away. We're doing my jersey tour once that we get however many likes or 50 likes.
Yeah, what was it? Yeah, 50? Yeah. Maybe someday. It'll be a short video. But that's it. So final totals, we've got Dean with 13 and Gifford with 7. So Dean, job well done. You really took the cake with that matchups one. That one was pretty powerful.
So, I'll take 7 points. I didn't get smoked.
Yeah, I just don't want to get embarrassed.
Brendan has to buy a jersey.
No, I don't think either of you guys put up an embarrassing performance. So,
yeah,
job well done. Obviously, I'm not sure how well I would have done on this or anything that you guys could have curated, because you could have certainly come up with a lot different questions than what I thought was relevant / interesting or memorable.
Like I said, I think the two Michigans in the same night would have been a cool one.
That would have been a cool question. I wish I had thought of that.
I'm trying to think what other random fun stuff like that, or even name how many players played their 1,000th game, because there were a ton.
Yeah, that would have been a good one too.
Players that retired, players that I don't know.
Maybe you can come up with one, and we'll do it all over again.
Well, maybe I'll get my quiz ready for next week for the, as I called it last time, the X's and O's of hockey.
Oh yeah, that might be tough for me. But we'll leave it for next week. I know this has been a bit of a weird one, bit of a long one, but thanks for tuning in for episode 50, and we'll see you again real soon.
See ya.
See ya.
There are
Is it stuff I
13
can
questions.
actually?
There better not be any head coaches on this.
I don't know.
If
Maybe.
there's